There are people who seem invisible in their early years, quiet minds, observant eyes, personalities that don't fit the rhythm of the crowd. While others advance quickly, these individuals appear delayed, misunderstood, or even left behind. They often experience loneliness, social friction, and a persistent feeling of being out of place, not because they lack ability, but because their psychological structure operates on a different timeline. This is one of the most misunderstood patterns in human behavior, and it shapes how success unfolds far later than most expect. In this video, we'll examine why the rarest personality types tend to succeed later in life, through a rational lens inspired by Carl Jung's psychological framework. You'll understand the inner mechanisms that delay recognition, the behavioral traits that quietly compound over time, and the invisible advantages that only emerge with maturity. If you've ever felt out of sync with society, questioned your pace, or sensed that your way of thinking didn't belong to the present moment, this analysis may explain far more than you imagine. There are people who seem invisible in their early years, quiet minds, observant eyes, personalities that don't fit the rhythm of the crowd. While others advance quickly, these individuals appear delayed, misunderstood, or even left behind. They often experience loneliness, social friction, and a persistent feeling of being out of place, not because they lack ability, but because their psychological structure operates on a different timeline. This is one of the most misunderstood patterns in human behavior, and it shapes how success unfolds far later than most expect. Before we dive deeper, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay until the end, because what you'll discover could completely change how you understand your own journey and the hidden strengths behind rare personality types. In this video, we'll examine why the rarest personality types tend to succeed later in life through a rational lens inspired by Carl Jung's psychological framework. You'll understand the inner mechanisms that delay recognition, the behavioral traits that quietly compound over time, and the invisible advantages that only emerge with maturity. If you've ever felt out of sync with society, questioned your pace, or sensed that your way of thinking didn't belong to the present moment, this analysis may explain far more than you imagine. The power of being misunderstood. Have you ever noticed how some people walk through life like they're invisible, and yet, somehow, they're noticing everything? Carl Jung called this the introverted observer, the one who feels a little out of sync with the world. You might think it's a disadvantage, being quiet, thinking differently, watching more than participating. But here's the twist. This is where their real power brews. The same traits that make others label them as late bloomers are the very traits that over time build resilience, insight, and a clarity most never achieve. They notice patterns others ignore. They feel deeply what others skim past. And while society rewards loud, immediate action, these personalities are quietly crafting strategies, connections, and ideas that will explode into success when no one's expecting it. And it's not luck. It's the slow accumulation of a mind wired to understand the world on a different frequency. But then, how does this misfit mind turn that quiet observation into tangible results? That's where the next point comes in. Imagine walking into a room and feeling like everyone is speaking a language you don't quite understand. Not because you're unintelligent, but because your mind works on a different frequency. That's the world of people with rare personalities, the ones Carl Jung often described as the observers, the introspective minds that don't rush, that notice the tiniest details while the crowd is busy sprinting toward the next goal. At first glance, it looks like they're falling behind. They linger, pause, retreat into thought, or even withdraw from social expectations. And yes, it can feel painfully lonely. You've seen it. The quiet student in class who never raises their hand, the co-worker who stays in the background during meetings, the friend who vanishes from the group chat for weeks. Society often mislabels these behaviors as shyness, laziness, or lack of ambition. But here's the twist. While the world judges, these individuals are actually learning, experimenting, and building a reservoir of understanding that others can't touch. Loneliness, in this sense, isn't just an emotional state. It's a workshop for insight. Those silent moments, those awkward social encounters, those times when no one seems to get you, are like invisible training sessions. The rare personality absorbs patterns, watches interactions, and deciphers motives without showing it. Jung noticed this, saying that such personalities have a rich internal world that often goes unnoticed, but it's precisely this depth that creates a kind of foresight. For example, think about someone who always notices the small contradictions in people's behavior. They see who's acting out of fear, who's being authentic, who's masking intentions. Most of us glance and move on. These minds linger, catalogue, and learn. And that quiet collection of knowledge and emotional intelligence doesn't announce itself. It simmers under the surface until the right moment. But it's not just observation, it's also adaptation. Rare personalities often feel out of place, yet this discomfort drives them to develop strategies that are subtle but powerful. They might create habits quietly, reading books that expand emotional and social awareness, experimenting with routines that sharpen mental focus, or reflecting on failures in a way that turns mistakes into lessons no one else learns. And while society rewards speed and visibility, these individuals reward depth and precision. Picture a chess player who sits silently, watching the board for hours, seeing moves ahead that others can't. That's exactly how the rare personality navigates life. Every delay, every misunderstood action, every silent moment compounds into a hidden advantage. And here's the part most people don't see. The world rarely recognizes this process early on. It's invisible because it's internal, slow, and complex. But when the timing aligns, when opportunities, skills, and insight converge, the rare personality emerges, not with a timid step, but with a force that's almost impossible to ignore. This is why many late bloomers aren't just catching up. They're arriving with a mastery that others who rushed ahead can't compete with. The quiet years weren't wasted. They were the forge of competence, resilience, and understanding. So the question isn't why these personalities seem late to succeed, but how they turn misjudged silence into unstoppable momentum. How does a world that prizes visibility eventually meet the person who has been quietly mastering it all behind the scenes? How does loneliness become the soil for rare talent, observation the teacher, and subtle adaptation the secret weapon that sets them apart? And as you start to see this pattern, you begin to notice it not only in others, but perhaps in yourself, quietly shaping the path ahead in ways the loud, fast-moving crowd could never anticipate. The hidden advantage of a rare personality. Think about people who never quite fit the mold in school, work, or social circles. Carl Jung said that rare personalities have an inner compass that doesn't follow trends, expectations, or the crowd. While others chase quick wins, these minds are quietly experimenting with habits, thoughts, and behaviors that create long-term advantage. It's almost ironic. The very things that make them socially awkward or misunderstood are the same things that give them insight no one else has. They see connections others miss, anticipate outcomes, and develop patience as if it's a secret weapon. And here's the kicker. While many measure success by speed, rare personalities measure it by depth. They're building silently under the radar, and the moment the world finally notices, it's almost like the game has already been won. But how do these traits translate into real-life relationships, opportunities, and influence? That's exactly what we'll explore next. Now let's talk about the hidden advantage of having a rare personality, the part that most people completely miss. Imagine someone who always feels a little out of step with the world. You know the type. They don't follow trends. They skip small talk. They often decline invitations without explanation. At first glance, it might look like they're missing out. But here's the thing. They're actually building an unseen arsenal. Carl Jung noticed this, pointing out that rare personalities have an internal compass that doesn't bend to the crowd. While everyone else is racing toward quick wins, flashy recognition, or temporary validation, these minds are quietly experimenting with life, testing habits, observing human behavior, and refining their own thinking without announcing it to anyone. It's almost ironic. The very things that make them appear socially awkward, isolated, or even slow are the traits that allow them to outperform the crowd in the long run. Think of it this way. If life were a chessboard, most people move fast, reacting to immediate threats, chasing obvious opportunities, and often overlooking subtle patterns. Rare personalities, on the other hand, are watching several moves ahead. They notice how people's emotions reveal their intentions, how repeated behaviors hint at deeper truths, and how fleeting trends fade while enduring principles remain. They aren't distracted by the noise. They observe it, catalog it, and learn from it. And over time, that silent accumulation of knowledge becomes a quiet advantage that shows up in ways others never anticipate. It's not magic. It's a combination of patience, insight, and an acute understanding of human behavior that few people develop so naturally. And here's where it gets fascinating. This hidden advantage isn't limited to professional success or intellectual insight. It shows up in relationships too. A person with a rare personality often sees dynamics in friendships, family, or romantic partnerships that most of us miss entirely. They notice patterns of manipulation, subtle signals of trust, or the quiet ways people sabotage their own happiness. Because they're not rushing or following the crowd, they have the space to make decisions that feel almost counterintuitive but are shockingly effective. In other words, their apparent detachment or lateness is actually strategic observation in action. They're like someone walking through a crowded street, spotting the cracks in the pavement before anyone else trips over them. The beauty of this advantage is that it compounds over time. Small, consistent actions, like reading thoughtfully, reflecting on conversations, or practicing a skill quietly, turn into enormous long-term benefits, while others chase instant recognition or temporary applause. Rare personalities build depth, wisdom, and resilience that eventually translates into impact far beyond the surface. And the irony is that the world often only notices when it's already too late for most people to catch up. This isn't about luck or waiting for opportunities to fall into their lap. It's about an intentional, methodical, and patient approach to life that most people don't even recognize as a strategy. So the next time you feel out of step, misunderstood, or socially late, remember this: that quiet, patient, observant energy isn't a flaw. It's the secret mechanism that turns delayed recognition into unstoppable influence. And the deeper you look, the more you realize that society's rush for instant success can blind people to the true power of patience, observation, and subtle mastery. The very traits that define rare personalities and set them apart. Why late success isn't a setback. Ever felt like everyone around you is moving faster, achieving more, and you're stuck in place? Jung would say that rare personalities experience time differently, not slower, but richer. Loneliness, introspection, and careful observation aren't punishments, they're training grounds. The ideas, habits, and insights you cultivate quietly become your secret arsenal, and it's only when the timing is right that the world recognizes it. The irony is that the delay everyone fears is exactly the setup for a profound, unshakable form of success. The rare personality learns to embrace solitude, to refine their vision, and to prepare for moments that others miss entirely. And once they step into that stage, it's not just achievement, it's transformation. So what are the exact psychological patterns and daily behaviors that set this late-blooming success in motion? That leads straight into the next layer of understanding. Now let's dive into why late success isn't a setback, and why, in many ways, it's actually the secret ingredient that rare personalities turn into unstoppable momentum. Picture someone who, for years, feels like they're standing still while everyone else seems to be sprinting ahead. Friends are climbing careers, social circles are growing, life looks like a non-stop highlight reel. And there you are, quietly observing, questioning, experimenting, or even retreating into solitude. At first, it feels like you're behind, like the world's clock is ticking faster than your own. But here's the thing Jung noticed. Rare personalities experience time differently. They don't rush because they don't need to. They're living in layers, noticing subtleties that the crowd completely misses, storing knowledge, refining perspective, and learning lessons that only patience can teach. And yes, it can be frustrating, feeling invisible, misunderstood, or even dismissed. But every delay is actually a stage of preparation, a quiet boot camp for life. Think about someone who spends years quietly building skills, honing habits, and analyzing social dynamics. They're not wasting time, they're creating depth. Imagine a musician practicing alone for years, unnoticed, until one day their composition finally hits the stage and blows everyone away. Or a researcher who works tirelessly in the lab without recognition, only for a breakthrough to redefine their field years later. Or even someone navigating relationships carefully, learning patterns of trust, manipulation, and empathy, who then enters the world fully equipped to create profound connections, while others struggle with the same mistakes they already solved in silence. Late success in this sense is a matter of timing, not ability. It's about aligning readiness with opportunity. The rare personality doesn't just arrive, they arrive prepared in ways the world can't anticipate. And here's the subtle, almost ironic truth. Society prizes speed, visibility, and early wins, but those measures are superficial. They don't account for durability, insight, or the quiet accumulation of wisdom. Rare personalities turn what looks like delay into leverage. Their experiences with loneliness, observation, and introspection become tools. They've survived internal struggles, social friction, and repeated misunderstandings, and all of that shapes a form of competence and resilience that's almost impossible to replicate. By the time the world notices, they're not just catching up, they're leading. Their impact is deep, their timing precise, and their understanding of themselves and others far beyond the average pace setter. And when you start to see it in real life, you realize something powerful. The late bloomer isn't unlucky or slow. They're just living a different kind of timeline, one that allows them to develop patience, emotional intelligence, and strategic insight simultaneously. Every period of silence, reflection, or perceived inactivity is actually a stage of accumulation. It's preparation, and the payoff is enormous. Success doesn't just happen. It crystallizes, often quietly, until it bursts into full view. So, the so-called setbacks, the delays, the isolation, all of it isn't failure. It's the hidden groundwork that eventually creates an advantage no one else can touch, a kind of mastery that's invisible until the right moment reveals it fully. And as you begin to recognize this pattern, you start noticing it in your own life too. The moments of quiet observation, the long stretches of preparation, the times when you felt behind. They're not setbacks either, they're investments. The rare personality learns that the world's clock doesn't dictate their rhythm. Their timing, patience, and depth define their trajectory. And when the alignment finally happens, the impact is profound, undeniable, and long-lasting. All of this leads to one undeniable truth. Success for the rare personality isn't about speed, applause, or fitting into someone else's timeline. It's about depth, awareness, and the quiet mastery of self. Those early years of solitude, observation, and even discomfort aren't weaknesses. They're the soil where resilience, insight, and wisdom take root. Every misstep, every moment of being misunderstood, every time you felt out of sync with the world, it was shaping you for something bigger, something the fast-moving crowd can't even imagine. So here's the message you need to take with you. Being rare, being different, being late isn't a flaw. It's your hidden strength. Your journey doesn't have to look like anyone else's. The patience you cultivate, the awareness you build, and the silent strategies you develop aren't wasted time. They're your secret power. One day, when the timing is right, all of it will converge, and your impact will be undeniable. While the world races for instant recognition, you're quietly becoming unstoppable, fully prepared, and ready to thrive on a level most people will never reach. Remember, the rarest personality doesn't just succeed, they arrive when the world is ready for them, and when they do, nothing can stand in their way. Your uniqueness isn't a delay, it's your advantage. Embrace it, trust the process, and know that your time will come, and it will be extraordinary. If this video helped you see the hidden strengths behind rare personalities, make sure to hit like, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future insights, and drop a comment telling me what topic you'd like me to cover next. Check out the card right here for the video and playlist where you can dive even deeper into human behavior, personality, and the psychology of success. Your next favorite insight might be just a click away. Don't miss it.